What's up? What's up? How are we doing on this not so beautiful day? It kind of sucks right now, but we're still coming with a video. I've lost track of how many this is. I think it's like five or something. But we're gonna do another mock draft today, keeping in tune with the weekly theme I got. And the first one, it was pretty vanilla, just keeping the order as it was. Second one, I had a couple trades that kind of made it a little bit wacky. But for this one, I think the tone of it is going to be if I had one mock draft for $1 million, I had to make the most realistic one I could. And this one is coming with the recent Jalen Carter news. It's coming with 2 days of the combine for the defensive linemen, edge rushers, linebackers, corners, DBs. So there's been a couple standout guys. So all that's going to go into effect here. So let's get right into it. PFF, this somewhat decent site for the mock drafts. And in wake of the Jalen Carter news, I think it's very likely now that the Bears are going to trade out of this top pick. Colts, it's been the most like matter of fact, yeah, I think it's the most likely. I said I was gonna do the most realistic. I'm gonna stay true to that. Force this trade, strike the draft. From what I've seen so far, quarterbacks have not worked out yet, but I still have seen nothing to say that Bryce Young will not be the first quarterback off the board, especially if a team were to trade up. If I had to look at one guy that seems like the most NFL ready, the best passer, most accurate, most poised, all that still remains to be Bryce Young. Texans at two. This is where Texans fans should be sweating. Will they go crazy and take Will Levis? I don't think so. CJ Stroud, I think CJ Stroud is more likely to go number one than fall out of the top two, if that makes sense. So to say that Will Levis or even Anthony Richardson would go at number two over CJ Stroud, I still just don't think that makes much sense. Cardinals at three. This has been Will Anderson for me. Obviously, in wake of the recent news, that will not help Jalen Carter's stock, so I'm going to keep it at Will Anderson there. Wake of J.J. Watt's retirement, I think it just makes the most sense for the Cardinals, and we're going to keep that as it has been for us. Number four, this is where things get very interesting. I completely understand if Jalen Carter is just off the board for most people now. But in my opinion, the fact of the matter is he will not do any jail time for the tragedy, and that's what it is. It is a tragedy. Two innocent people losing their lives over something stupid. Jalen Carter did have some involvement in it, but he will not do any jail time, and it is more than likely he will not face any repercussions by the NFL for his actions. So that doesn't really affect his draft stock, in my opinion. I still think he'll go in the top four, and the Bears, I think he's still their guy. Seahawks at five. Last time I made a trade here, I'm not so sure a trade will happen. As a Seahawks fan, I hope so because I think it gives us more flexibility down the board. But I will think, or I will say that we keep this pick here at number five. And I think Tyree Wilson, most freakish edge rusher in the class, in my opinion. I just think he has the highest upside as a pass rusher in this whole class. So I think at number five, that's a good spot for us and for him. Number six, Lions. This has been a cornerback the whole time for me. I could understand probably taking a pass rusher if Jalen Carter happened to fall out of the top five. Maybe this is a spot for him. But this will continue to be cornerback for me and the most impressive cornerback at the combine the day I'm recording this, Christian Gonzalez, athletic freak. I think it was a 41.5-inch vertical, 11-foot broad jump, sub 4.4, 40 time. It was all clicking for Gonzalez, and I think it just makes the most sense at number six, the Lions. Number seven, the Raiders. I still think this is a quarterback spot. Uh, Obviously, it all depends on what happens with Aaron Rodgers in that situation. That will take place before the draft, hopefully, so that will be figured out. But as in this point right now, I think Will Levis makes the most sense at that pick. I have made it very clear I don't like Will Levis. I still think he has the highest chance to be a bust out of anybody. But, going into a situation with Devontae Adams, Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow, potentially Josh Jacobs, that's a pretty good spot. Falcons at eight. Has to be defense. No other options, really, in my opinion. And with Miles Murphy still on the board here, I think Miles Murphy is a lock for the top 10. If he happens to fall past the Seahawks, I think the Falcons will snatch him up in a heartbeat. At 9, a lot of options. If they don't go quarterback, who knows what they could do with this pick. However, at this point in time, they have not figured out the quarterback situation. Sam Darnold even is still a free agent, so Anthony Richardson, I think, makes the most sense still. I am almost certain he will be a top 10 pick at this point in time. So at 9, it just still makes the most sense. Eagles, number 10, has to be either edge rush or corner. They're losing a lot of guys in the front seven, but I just don't know who the guy will be to replace that. The way I see it, you could draft an edge rusher like Lucas Van Ness, but I think a low number 10 is still a little bit too high for him. I would rather draft a corner. And at this point, the best corner on the board, in my opinion, is Joey Porter right here. So I've gotten some flack in the past for this, but I still think it makes the most sense to draft Joey Porter at 10. Titans at number 11. As long as they're at 11 for me, the left tackle pick will remain the same. Who is it? Any of these guys, these top three, you could make a good case for. I do think Paris Johnson is the most likely to be a star NFL left tackle, so I don't think the Titans can pass up on that. Texans here, this has a lot of variability to it. Do you take Quentin Johnson and give your whichever quarterback you take, give him a number one weapon, or do you build from the trenches? They have a new defensive-minded head coach, DeMeco Ryans, and I'll say they built the trenches. Let's shake things up a little bit. Not really though, because I think they're both equally viable options here. But I think Lucas Van Ness, he had a good combine, very impressive. He is a physical freak, extremely powerful guy in pass rush. That is a good pick at number 12. Jets at 13. Has to be offensive line. I don't really even understand the case for anything else. Peter Skoronski makes the most sense. I mean, I don't know how many times I've had him go into the Jets, and he will be the most likely pick to the Jets as I continue to do these. Patriots. Either left tackle, either cornerback, possibly receiver. Right here, I still think it has to be corner. Jonathan Jones is a free agent. Who's the best boundary corner available? It's between Cam Smith, Keely Ringo. I'm not sure they'd go for either of those guys. I think Devon Witherspoon. I've said it before. I'll say it again. He just seems like a Patriots type of corner to me. A little undersized, but good coverage skills, very physical, a lot of experience at Illinois. It's a good fit for the Patriots. Packers, 15. I mean, so many ways they could go. They have a lot of needs, really. You could go secondary with Brian Branch. They could for sure go as with a pass rusher off the edge. They could go for some wide receiver help. They could go for a tight end. And I think in this situation, if Quentin Johnston falls to you at 15, you already have Christian Watson to get another physical freak, fast, amazing ball skills in the air, physical. It just makes all the sense in the world to me at 15. Commanders at 16, I understand their interior offensive line needs, and I'll address that. Could be corner, very likely to be corner, but Osiris Torrance had a great Senior Bowl, and I'm starting to like interior offensive line to the Commanders more than corner in these drafts. Steelers, Broderick Jones on the board. If Joey Porter was here, take Joey Porter, but he's not here, so I think Broderick Jones makes more sense. Lions, a lot of options for the Lions here. I've continuously taken Brian Brzee for the Lions at this spot. I don't know if I haven't taken Brian Brzee at this spot yet for the Lions. Will I do that again? Yeah, I will. Christian Gonzalez first pick, Brian Brzee second pick. Amazing overhaul to their defense there in the first round of this class. I think they would walk away extremely happy with that. Buccaneers here, just so many needs. Completely different team than what we're going to see from the previous season. I've gone Bijan over and over, but that's not their biggest need. Their biggest need is corner. And with two good options on the board here, it's a toss-up. Ringo had an amazing combine. Cam Smith had a good combine. but I think maybe they'll go with a safer pick. I don't know if Cam Smith is necessarily the safer pick here. I think Ringo is the better prospect, but Cam Smith there, who knows? I mean, that's a toss-up. Seahawks at 20, so many options for us here. Brian Branch, Keely Ringo, Trenton Simpson. I mean, Kalijah Kancey. We could take a receiver. I mean, look at all these guys available. I've enjoyed the Ringo pick too much to pass up on it. He is the perfect fit for the Seahawks. We're the perfect fit for him. Good combine, like I said. 23-1 record as a starter at Georgia, back-to-back national champion. I just don't know if we can pass up on that. And Trenton Simpson had a good combine too. It hurts to pass on him, but I think Ringo would just be a better player in Seattle than Trenton Simpson would at this point. Chargers at 21. I think it's very likely, almost certain, that they get some receiving help. They could go in the form of an actual receiver, but I think tight end makes more sense. Gerald Everett was good last year, but he is no Michael Mayer. And Michael Mayer is the best tight end in this class. He will be a first round pick. And I think the Chargers there, it helps them in a unique way in the pass game. Ravens here at 22. Whoever plays quarterback next year, they need a number one receiver. Jordan Addison will be that guy. Whatever team he goes to, he's an amazing route runner, great hands this season, not his Blitnikoff season, ironically, at Pitt, but he improved on that. I think he will test out well, and I like his upside as a number one receiver. Vikings, it's been Brian Branch. It's been Brian Branch for me to the Vikings over and over, but with Jackson Smith and Jigba available, Adam Thielen getting up there in age, I don't think we can pass up on that. Jaguars here. I usually have O'Cyrus Torrence, possibly a corner. Cam Smith is a bit, no, he's not available actually. All the top corners are gone, but Brian Branch, probably going to be the best nickel corner in this whole draft day one. Uh, Not blazing speed. He didn't test out great at the combine, but I just love his physicality. He has good coverage skills underneath. At 24, the Jaguars, I think, addresses a need. He has versatility in the safety role if you don't decide to bring back Rashawn Jenkins long term. I just like that pick for the Jaguars at 24. Giants here. I have been seeing a lot of hype for Zay Flowers. This pick has usually been, where is he? It's usually been Josh Downs for me. Trenton Simpson's also available. I think that's the direction I'll go. He had a great 40 time. I think it was might have been 4.43 or something like that. Great for a linebacker. With his coverage skills, great tackler, great leader at Clemson. Giants are in need of a good linebacker. I've not had one in a very long time. I think he could be that guy at 25 for him. Cowboys, I've been going corner here very frequently. A couple guys that tested out very well today could possibly go with the Cowboys here. Tony Pollard, do you bring him back? Most likely not. But at receiver, I feel like Zay Flowers from the interior, he has no upside as a boundary receiver. He's just too small. But getting free releases from the slot, he could be a very, very dangerous player, very big weapon for the Cowboys. Possibly, I think they may like that upside with Zay Flowers a little bit too much to pass up on. Bills at 27, a lot of options. I mean, you could sell me on a dozen different things. Keon White, Kalijah Kancey, maybe a corner. But I will go what I've gone before for the Bills, I believe, and that's Steve Avila. Good Senior Bowl, probably the second best interior offensive lineman after O'Cyrus Torrence. Bills there. I just think he's going to be such a solid player for them for such a long time to pass up on that in 27. I don't think they do that. Bengals, they have a lot of needs in the secondary, but this is a deep cornerback class. They can address some of that in the second round. A guy you probably won't be able to get in the second round is Anton Harrison. Protect Joe Burrow. That is priority number one in Cincinnati, and Anton Harrison helps you do that long term. Saints at 29. Receiver here could be very exciting, but with Alvin Kamara, you know, duking it out with the federal justice system, I just don't think you can pass up on a guy who it's just amazing he's fallen this far. He could have gone to the Cowboys at 26 probably, maybe he does go to 26 to the Cowboys. But for the Saints, if Bijan Robinson fell this far, which is possible, I don't think you can pass up on him. Eagles most likely do that as well. If he falls all the way to 30, that would be a dream for them. However, very deep running back class. What is not as deep in would be the edge rushers. Same exact outcome I had for them last time. I'm not going Keon White. Instead, I'm going to go with the guy who had the best combine so far of anybody, Nolan Smith. I have called him a physical freak before. That may be an understatement. He was absolutely incredible today. I mean, faster. I think he had a faster 40 time than Joey Porter. No, he definitely had a faster 40 time than Joey Porter. Had a faster 40 time than Keeler Ringo on his second attempt. I mean, just incredible from Nolan Smith, not to mention a 40+ inch vertical, I think an 11-foot broad jump. Just a ridiculous athlete. Upside is amazing there. And these last two guys, Nolan Smith, Bijan Robinson, they could both be 20 picks, and I wouldn't be top 20 picks, and I wouldn't be surprised by that. So for them to fall to 29 and 30 is just incredible for the Saints and Eagles in this particular mock draft. Last pick in the first round, Chiefs 31. This will continue to be a receiver for me. I'm not sure when the receivers work out, but when they do work out, I think this guy right here, Jalen Hyatt, will run the fastest 40 time. And if he falls to the Chiefs, it might be over for the league, to be honest. So let's take a look over the entire draft. I'm happy with this one. Maybe switch a pick like Zay Flowers and Bijan Robinson. I'm not sure if Bijan will fall that far. And he's such an interesting player here. I mean, he could go so many different places in this draft. But yeah, that's my draft. If you enjoyed the video, don't be afraid to hit the like button, subscribe, share with your friends, and thanks for watching. See you.
It's out the motherfucking pack. Right out the niggas don't know how to act.